Well, hello everyone. Here to show you right here of talk about these photographs right here, and we all know that when we're going to be going to a job interview, that we're going to be thinking about all kinds of things really. But one of those is maybe going to be about maybe the appearance and also about the source of reactions of what you look like whenever you are not really aware of certain things, and let's just say if it's a training or anything like that. So a lot of times it sure seems that way. That anything on what you call posture or anything like that. I was also thinking too about the driver's license and also anything else that like people want to know too. That well, you take a picture, you take a portrait of like if you're going to be seated at a position or standing in a position where you're waiting for your picture to be taken a lot of times. And we all know that whenever you take a picture of while you're working, let's just say it could be while you're working, or maybe if you're just trying to take a picture just to so that way I'm like, yeah, it's another way of how you want to check into like a task or something like that. About every 5 hours or so, you'll take a picture. Somebody will take a picture of you working, or maybe what you look like whenever you're working on something or thinking of something or something like that. But I'm just showing everybody here are these pictures right here. That this right here would be a picture right here of me if I was working at my laptop right here. But you can see right here that just a little bit, it's a little bit blurry and a little bit out of focus. And at the time you want to know too that why is it that a picture like that would maybe look perfect to where that like if we're talking about maybe for like a for a certain mood board or something like that. I'm like, yeah, to where, yeah, I at the time you probably want to know too that maybe something like do not distract or something like that, or do not disturb or something like that, or something like to where what exactly is coming to my mind whenever I look at that picture or something like that. But still that I know with me though that a lot of pictures that what we see if it's going to be on an ID or a driver's license or any sort of permit or something like that, and you look at your photographs, and a lot of times you're probably thinking too that why is it that the color balance in the background is just quite a bit low, and like it seems like there's a distraction going on in the background when we look at that. And so whenever we look at a photograph like that, and likely 102 that, hey, what exactly is coming to your mind whenever you look at that, photos like that. And so you have right here, this right here will be me right here. And let's just say if I were to use one of these photographs, it's like one I was taking that whenever I was studying. I was studying for the past 5 hours. So let's just say that if I were to use one of these photographs right here of like maybe for the study hour or something like that. So in case of anybody that may want to know too, that you take photographs. So and if you're trying to use one of these pictures as like an ID for for your profile page or something like that, and you want to know too that hey that you take about maybe 7 or maybe 11 pictures altogether, and half the time you want to know too that for what reason is that. But it sure seems that way that you want to retake a picture just because of that reason, because you're trying to you know yeah that it could be reasons too. I'm like yeah, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to show good wisdom about for your smile and also your interactions with for how that you want to look on camera, right? And a lot of times it sure seems that way that whenever you look at your driver's license photo that a lot of things that you do see that you're able to recognize whenever you look at those the photographs. And a lot of times it's like yeah that after you recently had shaved, after you recently shaved, or after you recently were brushing your hair, or maybe you were getting cleaned up or something like that. So that's why that you want to go ahead and take a picture like that. And then at this right here, you can see right here is just a little bit of light right here. And so it's like, yeah, that picture right there. And I can remember taking this picture right here that whenever I was taking classes during the time that I can remember that whenever I was taking that picture, I was actually trying to program the camera to where it would set it to where that after 10 seconds, and then it set it the self timer, set the timer on the camera. So whenever I was taking that picture right there, I was actually trying to get a good view of the angle of the camera right there. So like everybody else would say too, if you're going to set the timer on the camera, that you don't really know that for what I'm like, yeah, especially like anybody say too, that if you're going to be holding the camera a certain way, that you don't know what the focal point is going to look like, for exactly what the viewpoint looks like. So you just go ahead and take the picture like that. And so that's why sometimes that some of these pictures right here, like this one right here, that this one turned out pretty good, but still that there's about four of them that I did take that I was not able to tell what the viewpoint looked like until after I took the picture. So it's like, yeah, that if somebody else were to be taking a picture, and for sure that maybe you would be able to get better results if you had somebody else taking the pictures for you, and looking at you, and like yeah, just to be able to see what your what your posture. I'm like yeah, whenever you're going to be taking a picture of something, and taking a self portrait, and you want to know too that setting the timer on the camera to where you'll be able to take the pictures. And a lot of times, that with the things that you notice, that whenever you do take the pictures, that hey, that some of them, some of those pictures that look out of focus, and some of them that look really out of balance or something like that. But still, but the way I think about it too, though, that whenever it comes to pictures, though, that whenever it comes to most of the time with pictures, though, that whenever we look at a lot of these pictures, though, while you're working, and maybe while you're doing stuff around the house or something like that, and you want to know too that talk about for real ID or anything such as for permits, though, and you're likely thinking is that yeah, that with an actual ID right here, though, that you want to know too that you use one photograph as for like a photo to where that while you were studying, or while you were doing the 2 weeks of training or something like that. So a lot of times it sure seems that way, that you look at these photographs a lot of times, and you probably want to know too that hey, that you take a picture, but still that you want to go ahead and retake that picture a lot of times, just because that that way that you were seated, or maybe that yeah, well, a lot of times it's over the fact about, because the position for how you were seated, though, that you're trying to get everybody to realize what is it that you were working on from earlier. You're trying to take the picture from the head to the neck down, or something like that, so that way people can see your shoulders. And at the time, you want to know too that, come on now, this is what I look like, okay? Yeah, that this is what I look like whenever I was studying, or maybe when I was going through training, or if you're going to be using that photo for like any sort of profile image or something like that. So it's like, yeah, why would you want to go through a whole roll of film, just to be able to set a profile image? And like everybody else would probably say too, that looking at your pictures, though, that you want to know too that yeah, you go ahead and set the background right there, and want to know too that you look at these photographs a lot of times, and the first thing that comes to your mind, though, is you may want to use a photograph as like one for the study hour, one that just to show about what your interactions are whenever you find out about something. So like this picture right here, that what my interactions usually are whenever I'm trying to figure out how to update my profile, or maybe whenever I'm studying something, or whenever I'm looking at something. And people may say that yeah, the shadows around your eyes, and of course on the nose and all that, and anything that's based on the posture of the mouth right there. So it sure seems that way, that whenever we look at photographs like that in a 102, that, four of them, four or five of these actually, that I actually took these pictures whenever I had the camera set to self timer. So that, where I was able to actually take the photograph by setting the camera to where I would set the camera to where it would take the picture after 10 or so seconds. And so it's like, if there was really nobody there to take the picture for me, then a lot of times that's usually what I would do. That I would actually set the timer on the camera to where that it would take the picture, and then I was able to get a good position to where I would, show up on the camera like that, to where that that's what I would look like if I was just testing the camera, or if I was just checking out the new features and all that. So a lot of times it sure seems that way. That really, why would anybody name any source of photograph like with me though? Would like anybody say that, what's the name that you got for this photograph right here? The technician, the technical, the technical image, the technical trainee or something like that. I'm like, the technical trainee or something like that. I'm like, well, why would you want to give any source of a photograph a title name? And people might even say too that well, really, that whenever it comes to spelling or anything like that, you look at these photographs. So, and you want to know too is to where that do we have we called any source of photograph called the check-in? With I'll call it dash, your check in right here. So a lot of times it's like, whenever you give a photograph a name, do you really give one film strip, like in case if we were like 102, that whenever you take one photograph though, that you go back and look at those photographs, and you're probably thinking too that this right here is supposed to be your photograph, what you would look like while you were checking in. You use it for your profile image right there, just because just to verify that everything is all correct, and maybe about if you're getting ready to sign something. And like anybody also probably say too, that I would probably use something like that if I was getting ready to sign something. But all these other photographs right here, if I say is to where you look at some of these photographs, and a 102, that this one right here looks like to me that that picture right there looks like to me like that if you're getting ready to take an exam or something like that, half the time you want to know too that that right there, that picture of me right there, don't even look like that like me, is to where anybody say that, do you even know if the camera was on, whenever you took that picture. But still, whenever we look at photographs like these right here, you want to know too that, that whenever you do take a picture of something, half the time you want to know too that, for the most of the time, that you're not able to look at the actual picture before the picture is actually taken. So that's why it sure seems that way, that just checking out the camera or anything like that. But like everybody else will probably say too, looking at a few of these pictures right here, and 102, that if you're going to be going to a job interview, and even if for a job interview, that looking at your pictures right here, and 102, what exactly is coming to your mind whenever you look at your picture like that? What exactly were you thinking about? I'm like, what I was thinking about actually was having somebody look at my most recent photographs, and also about the things that I was working on during the time. That if I was trying to update my profile image, or maybe if it was over the fact about looking at some of your images right here, and I want to know too that, this image right here looks really out of focus. And most of the time, though, if you're going to be using an image like that for any sort of profile page, people might say too that if it's too blurry or if it's really just too dull or out of shape or something like that, then chances are that they say is toward that you cannot use it. But still, at the time, it sure seems that way. That you look at a photograph like that, and people may even want to know too that really that if you're going to be using it for any sorts of profile image, though, that at the time you want to know too that you want to go ahead and use it as like for a mood tour that do you really want to use any source of picture though to expose this to where if you're having a real bad day or something like that, or just checking it out, just checking it out, and then you're going maybe you want to use a picture like this right here to where something that's real blurry and something that's maybe going to expose your mood or something like that, and so a lot of times it's like you're looking at these pictures right here, and I want to know too that this picture right here, if we can all see this right here, that this picture right here actually reminds me just a little bit as to where, like everybody else will probably say too, that if you're going to be walking up to the wall like that and getting your picture taken like that, and people say too well, really, for any reason at all, if you're trying to get your whole, if you're trying to get if you're trying to get into the picture even, if you're trying to take the picture of your neck and your collar down right here, like everybody else will probably say too, that's one of the reasons why that people do that, is that you go ahead and whenever you're taking a picture though, that you gotta step away from the camera, so that way if you got the timer on the camera set to where that you go ahead and position yourself to a spot, in the corner of a room like that, and then you go ahead and take the picture like that. Everybody else would probably say too that well, you take these pictures right here, and I want to know too that okay, what exactly is it that you're doing in that picture right there? But still, looking at that picture right there, people may say that how many of them have you used for your student ID? How many of them have you really even used for your business cards or anything like that? But it sure seems that way, that when we think about pictures though, that pictures that are even captured from a webcam, the ones that are even taken from our phones, and you're probably thinking too, is to where that you look at these photographs, right? But half the time you want to know too is that when you take a picture of something though, that it seems like that people don't just really want to know what you look like. What they're asking for, if anything, what is it that you're wearing? And if you're properly trained on how to do something, and if you are, then get busy or something like that. So a lot of times, you want to know too if we're going to maybe have a photograph titled, get busy. So it's like, have we ever thought about that? If you're going to have a photograph stating something such as get busy or something like that. And so it's like, get busy means like, for get to work. So really so if people were to recognize a photograph like that and 102 is toward it, well really whenever it comes to most photographs though, that you look at these photographs though, and at 102 that for whatever reason this photograph right here is going to remind me just a little bit of like what you call is that if it's supposed to be you right there working in the lab right there, and for any reason at all it's going to remind you just a little bit of your appearance or what you would use for a profile image, despite about that picture that we seen earlier right here. And likely thinking too that that picture right there, you would use that right there is like another reason just to say is as to where well, if you do not want to be disturbed, and let's just say that if you were to set that if you were to if you were to set that like for your profile image to where if you really don't want to be bothered, like if you were in a meeting or something like that. So a lot of times it sure seems that way, that you look at these different photographs right here and a 102 that you have these different photographs right here, and people are going to say is to where yeah, talk about for what mood that you're in, if you were in training, or maybe if you were just if you were just checking out a new technique or something like that. So a lot of times it's like, yeah, that you look at the position right there, and you're probably thinking too that that most of the time, that we're actually looking for, what is it that you look like, besides what is it that you're wearing and all that. But still, that when we think about photographs, though, especially like on a driver's license, though, that what exactly is coming to your mind, and can you really tell that just by looking at a photograph? And like everybody else would probably say too, that well, really, that in a way in a way you can, but you're still. I know that looking at this right here, and I can tell everybody here real quick too that that looking at this picture right here is more likely is going to maybe tell me as to where yeah, what's next. So if I were to say something like that, yeah, like add like a little comma right there, what's next? So if I were to call that photograph right there, what's next? What exactly does is that supposed to exaggerate to anybody else? So it's like you want to know too that yeah, you take a photograph right there, and that photograph is maybe going to show something like, yeah, what's next? And this one right here is maybe going to say is to where something like, yeah, well, I think I have an idea about something, or that I think I know what to do about how to solve this problem or something like that. So a lot of times it sure seems that way, that when we look at these photographs right here, are they really supposed to tell our viewers about what exactly it is? That are you able to read somebody's mind and able to read somebody's thoughts and take like to where the yeah something that you would maybe see just a little bit like, that's whenever Snapchat comes around to where that you post pictures and people are able to tell what exactly that you're thinking about, but still that but the way I think about it too, though, that you're looking at these pictures right here, and if you're trying to use one of these for like a yeah, job assessment, or if you're trying to train somebody on a job, or if it's anything that is related to for like a photo ID or something like that. And people might even say too that really though that if you're going to be using any source of photograph like that, we would ask you to where that it would need to be. I'm like, yeah, that for any source of photograph that you're going to be using, though, that to have a good viewpoint, and also that for what that tells the company about, for what is it about the training process, about what is it that you're trying to tell us, just by looking at that picture right there. People might even say that, yeah, well, what I'm trying to show everybody here is really about the angle of the picture right here, the angle and the viewpoint right there. But most of the time, it was over the fact that that I was trying to test the camera, about trying to get it positioned, and so I can go ahead and take photos, and yeah, just like different models and different positions of what I would look like, and like everybody else would say too, that whenever you take a picture of something, that one thing that I did notice too is that you see some of the shadows right here, and then the brightness right there, and so that's another reasons why that I think that one right there turned out to be one of the best, compared to other photographs that I have taken. And like everybody say, is to where you take a photograph, if you're trying to update your profile, and 102, what exactly is it that you're thinking about whenever you get your picture taken? And like anybody says, to where yeah, you save one photo for the job training, you save one for if you're going to be on chat with somebody, and you save one photo right there just to save, to where that yeah, well, it's just something just a new technique or something like that. But at the time, you're probably thinking too that, yeah, well, really, that when we think about a picture, though, do we necessarily think about that to where that, you take a picture of some, whenever you're taking a picture, a portrait, and 102 that are people really looking at your the look about you, what you look like, or if you're trying to get your shoulders and everything all to appear in that picture, right? And at the time, it sure seems that way. That looking at this picture right here, and you can see right here is that knowing about right here is that you got right here is me with my computer right here, and I want to know just a little bit too to where hey that 102 what exactly is it that you were looking like, and 102 hey that picture like of you right there, that right there looks like that you're cooking in the kitchen rather than working at your desktop right there. So it's like people may even say too that why is it that the color right there seems to change whenever you are going from one point of the room to the other? And people might even say that too, to where that whenever you're going to be looking at the camera right there, and people want to know too that yeah, if you're going to be kneeling over or anything like that, and you might see just a little bit of exaggeration change and all that. But anyway, but I thought I'd show everybody here that right there. You have right here is yeah, working at my computer right here, and then also that I have right here like this photograph right here toward it. Understanding the basics about is toward it. Whenever you look at a photograph, though, that you take a picture while you're working, and you probably thinking too that hey that what exactly is it that you're trying to tell everybody else? People might even say that, yeah, well, what you really are trying to tell everybody else is the fact about that the things that you don't quite understand during the time and compared to the things that you do understand now. And people might say that, yeah, well, you got a different pair of glasses on in that picture, but then this one right here looks like right here that you were on a job training. So anybody say is to where you look at a lot of these photographs a lot of times, and the first thing that's going to come to your mind is toward, yeah, certain photographs that you look back at them and you want to know too is toward that, yeah, do you still want to keep those saved on file, or if anything, just get rid of them or whatever? But still. But at the same time, though, that we're also talking about is that with most photographs, though, that whenever it comes to understanding about photographs, that you have photographs that you look at, and 102 that you look at a lot of those photographs, and then like I say is that they're supposed to indicate your source of identity about for who you are and the work that you do. But anyway, talk about say for the real ID right here, knowing about for ways of how to identify them.